You know, when I did my video, you know, basically a live stream talking about this year's bowl games, I said that it would be, well, I somewhat said in that video that it would basically be probably one of the more viewed and one of the better bowl games for college football, bowl game seasons, I should say, for college football in a long time. And so far, with a few exceptions here and there, it's basically lived up to exactly what I said. There's been, in the short amount of days that bowl season has started, which was back on Friday, a lot of the games have been mostly close. Some have been blowouts, there's no doubt, but some have been very, very close. To some extent, depending on how you view it. But if there's one issue as I make sure the mic is turned on, here it is. But if there's one issue I have to take umbrance with, is the fact that it doesn't feel like, even though these bowl games could be can't miss, and they could be ranked in top 15s or top 10s at the end of the year when it's all said and done. Some of the best, it's like, what are the top 15 best, or what was the top 15 worst, stuff like that. Or top 25 best, top 25 worst, or whatever you want to call it. Or, I guess you could say top, 20, top, I don't even know how, like, top 22, top 21, depending. Well, basically, like I said, top 15, either way. Despite, how much this bowl season is just going to get better and better with time, continuing today with the New Orleans Bowl, and then you got the other bowls tomorrow, you have to, to me, you have to really think about why, these bowl games, even though teams are happy to be part of them, whether they have players opt out for the NFL, or whether they have players opt out because they're going through this new transfer portal and stuff like that, you have to really ask yourself, and again, this is something that I take umbrance with, why doesn't, because to me, when you do a bowl game, you want to really make it feel prestigious, despite how minuscule it might be in the eyes of others. You want to try to give it some kind of prestige. And to me, this is doubly accounted for when it comes to newer bowl games like the Fenway Bowl that just happened on Saturday. You want to put some importance to it, right? You want to put some prestige to it. And these bowl sponsors for these games, they have the money to make these games happen, to become sponsors for these games themselves. But why don't they try to shell out some of that money that allows them to put these bowl games on, to sponsor these bowl games, to put more prestige in it? You see, one of the, I guess you could say, weird quirks, one of the weird quirks, if you will, for me, or quirkiness, if you will, weird quirkiness for me, or quirkiness, whatever you want to call it, for me, is, if I can get a chance to watch a replay of the game, which, nowadays we can do thanks to On Demand with ESPN's streaming service, if not the cable company, or the streaming app, basically, their app, period. Well, with a few exceptions being Fox and, CBS, but I think CBS has Paramount that can help us out there, and Fox, they might be an issue there too, but anyway, you would think that, basically, well, I'm trying to get on, let me rewind a little bit. Okay, almost lost my train of thought there. It's still kind of early, it's about 10:05, it's foggy outside, so I do apologize, and yes, I am off today. And let me get a little bit of coffee. But like I was saying, one of my weird quirkiness, or quirkiness, if you will, is, if I can, get a chance to watch the games like I was mentioning, one of the things I want to see is, whether or not there was any effort, put into the presentation, mostly like on the field. Did they take the effort to, at least, put some kind of resemblance of, what the bowl game is meant to be? Like the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I know it's like 3 years old now, and it's one of the bowl games outside the famous Idaho Potato Bowl that, excuse me, that, is played on a different colored turf than regular turf. And the only effort I ever see get put into those is, on the side. It's like on either side of the field, like right before the end zone, you see a logo that says Myrtle Beach Bowl or Myrtle Beach or famous Idaho potatoes, and that's it. And maybe in the middle they have the logo that says, the bowl game's name. Like, I think with San Jose State and Eastern Michigan, they had the bowl game name in the middle. But with the Myrtle Beach Bowl, they didn't have that. I mean, that's being played in Coastal Carolina, so I can understand maybe, Coastal Carolina doesn't want to, shell out that extra bit of money, or the sponsors don't want to shell out that extra bit of money to at least have the Chanticleer mascot logo changed to say Myrtle Beach Bowl. But to me, just the tiniest bits of effort in the presentation, like on the field wise, for the field period. Excuse me there, but for the field period, I think would help really elevate these bowl games to more, like, I wouldn't say must see, but more importance, if you will. I mean, the Fenway Bowl is a new bowl game that just happened this past Saturday. You would think that instead of just, changing Fenway Park, rearranging it and, kind of realigning it into a football field, and, just putting the Fenway Bowl logo in the middle, you think they put some effort into it to where one end zone would say Louisville's name and the other end zone would say Cincinnati's name, but they didn't even do that. They just put Fenway, and that's it. It's like, to me, are you trying to basically make this bowl game that's supposed to, take place in one of the more legendary ballparks in all sports? You trying to make it feel less prestigious than what it is, and you're involving two teams that in recent years, I should say, were part of the national title picture, and now they're basically at a point to where they have to rebuild, and part of that rebuilding process is being part of the third bowl game of the year. It's like, are you trying to make this bowl game and the teams involved feel less important? To me, it sounds like it. And they're not the only ones. The LA Bowl, Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Come on, Jimmy. Come on. You have the money. You have the money. You're sponsoring the bowl game. SoFi's hosting it. They should have. And there is no. Well, was there an NFL game? Can't really recall, but I don't know if there was an NFL game the next day or not. I can't recall. No, it was on Monday. It was a Monday that the Rams played against the Packers. But come on, Jimmy. You have the money. You could have put Fresno State's name and the Washington State's Cougar name, their logos, either the team names or the school names on the end zones. You could have done that. Las Vegas. You have the Allegiant Stadium now for your bowl game. You can't tell me you couldn't put, instead of just putting Las Vegas in the colors of the schools, you couldn't just change it up to where it says Florida and Oregon State. I mean, seriously. Just a tiny bit of effort, especially if you have the money to do it. I mean, I can understand maybe the New Mexico Bowl not wanting to do much because, hey, it's being played in the home of the Lobos. I get that. And all you want to do is put New Mexico Bowl, and that's a bit of effort. That's credit where it's due. But, come on, seriously. Try to do more. try to do more. I mean, the Legend Tree Bowl. Look, I know that was in FC. What was that? Was that in the Legend Tree Bowl? That was in Birmingham, right? But come on, still, you should put some effort into it. And that's all I ask. That's all I ask about some of these bowl games. I mean, that are upcoming, or that have been played and are, upcoming and everything. Put a little bit of effort into them, man. Put a little bit of effort. I mean, the Lending Tree Bowl, it didn't even have Rice or Southern Miss's names in the end zone. It had the logo in the middle. That's effort. I'll give it that, but not much. BYU and SMU, New Mexico Bowl and Albuquerque, New Mexico Bowl's logo in the middle, fine. But you're not going to take the effort to at least change the colors and the name of the state in the end zone, the name of the school in the end zones to match the colors of the teams playing. I mean, seriously. Boise State and North Texas, in the Frisco Bowl. Yeah, you're playing it in FC Dallas' stadium, but you still can't, change that. You can't, instead of just putting stripes in the end zone, you can't just say, hey, we're going to put, Boise State's name here, and we're going to put North Texas name here. I mean, come on. Come on. And then the Boca Raton Bowl, or Bocan Raton Bowl, at FAU Stadium. Come on. You can't tell me you can't you put effort in putting Boca Raton on both sides of the end zone. You put the name of the bowl game in the, with the logo and everything in the center. That's great. But seriously, you can't just decide, instead of putting Boca Raton, you can't put the team of the schools, the names of the schools participating. You can't put their names in the end zone. You can't put the mascots' names in the end zone. I mean, come on. I mean, the mascot name in the end zone. I mean, like the Rockets and the Flames, you couldn't do that. Seriously. You wonder why, even though, again, I still believe this is going to be one of the more viewed college bowl seasons in a while, because some of these matches have definitely lived up to, like I said, being some of the best, to make this probably the best college bowl season in a long time. You wonder why, not a lot of people like to attend. It's not just because of weather, it's not just because of the holiday season, or the inconvenience, of things like that and other stuff. But it's also the fact that they, like me, know that if you have the money to sponsor these bowl games or put these bowl games on in your stadiums, you should have the money to at least put more effort in the presentation, even if it's on the field, the field itself. Because when you put more effort into the presentation of the field itself to make it feel more like a big game, for these schools that are going to be a part of it, then again, that makes it more important to those that will attend. Because then word will get out, hey, the Boca Raton Bowl, did this, and that's going to make people want to go to the, probably look forward to the following year's Boca Raton Bowl, in 2023, to see maybe if that effort will continue. But still, it's all about the presentation, in my opinion, the field presentation, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. Tonight we have the New Orleans Bowl. Tonight we have the New Orleans Bowl at 6 o'clock Pacific. South Alabama, Western Kentucky. I could hope and pray that New Orleans will put some effort into it. I think they will. I think one of the bowl games, even if it's, smaller conference schools, mid-conference schools, I believe they are one of the bowl games that do put effort into, the presentation of the bowl game. They do. And the same with the Armed Forces Bowl tomorrow. I think, hopefully we'll get some effort there with Baylor and Air Force. We got to. Independence Bowl, that's always been an issue with me. That's one of the bowl games where I'm like, so you're just going to put Independence Bowl, you're just going to keep that in the end zone, or you're just going to keep that as the end zone name. You're not going to put effort and put Houston and Louisiana names, there. You're not going to do that. You know, the Gaspolera Bowl. Hopefully, in Raymond James Stadium, put some effort. Because they have the money. That's the home of Tom Brady right now. So you think they put some effort into it, but we'll see. A lot of these bowl games, like I said, if they can at least put, effort into the logo, putting the logo in the middle, and maybe at least putting some effort by maybe painting the end zones, the color of the schools of each school, or something like that, and maybe put the name of the sponsor or the name of the bowl game in there along with it. That's a little bit more effort, than than what's usually given, and I think that's what they have. I think that's what a lot of these schools need to start doing. Not schools, but a lot of these sponsors in the bowl games need to start doing in the years to come. Because I want you to think about it this way: in 2 years, not next year, but the following year, the college football playoff will be expanding to 12 teams. Expanding. You can't tell me that that's not going to give you motivation to make your bowl games seem just as important. Because it will. And you need to give that importance to the bowl game itself, to the presentation of that bowl game. Because if you want it to be considered for a future expansion of the playoff, because I'm telling you right now, 12 teams ain't going to be satisfactory. I'd say give it almost to the end of the decade, and you're going to get the announcement of 16 teams. And you can't tell me you won't want your bowl game, or at least the site of your bowl game, to be considered as a site for, for a future college football playoff. To me, the presentation of how you present the bowl game, field-wise, and attendance-wise as well, but mostly field-wise, make it feel big, make it feel big, but by association, that will help you out. That will help you out, in my opinion. But to me, I know it's a weird thing to talk about out and everything, and to discuss, but I feel if you really want to put more importance on these bowl games, even if they don't feel like they should have importance to them, they're part of what's known as college bowl mania. Whether they're all on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, or they're on CBS, Fox, or Barstool, like the Arizona Bowl is, at least put some effort in there. Don't just keep it as, a regular, field, because it feels like, because what it feels like is the team that's the home team is just playing a home game on a neutral site. And that's not good. You want to give it a bigger presentation than that, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Do you think they should put more effort into these bowl games, especially the presentation of the field, to at least make it feel big time, in the long run, especially for the schools that will be part of it? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Also, check me out at BW Roses Discussions, where you will get an audio version of this along the way. Also, check me out and support me at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get here on YouTube. Also, support me at deviantart.com, that's BVW1979. Also, support me at Venmo at Brian-112, Cash App at BW Roses98, and Patreon.com, says BW Roses. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Oh, also check out the Teespring store as well for some belated Christmas gifts or New Year's gifts in time for 2023. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. Do you agree with me on this? Do you think if a lot of these bowl committees and sponsors, financially put more effort into the presentation of at least the field itself, that it would give it a more of a bigger time feel for a lot of these bowl games that are not New Year's 6-day bowl games, not New Year's Day games or associated with New Year's Day, or even CFP playoff games? Do you think at least it would give them more of an importance to where, hey, you have to pay attention, being a viewer, being a fan? Let me know, and until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.